Hey, welcome to the next episode of The Inner Circle. Today we're reviewing a movie that we both have been freaking out about for quite a while, and we finally watched it, and it was quite an experience to say the least.
I am going to bag Rick Masters.
I'm gonna bag Rick Masters.
It's my favorite line of the movie, To Live and Die in L.A.
This is To Live and Die in L.A., William Friedkin's finest hour.
Literally, from the trailer, his best movie. I like it better than The Exorcist, even though it's a different genre, so like some people wouldn't judge it the same. William Friedkin's best movie, Willem Dafoe. What's his name? I just knew it.
I can't remember the actor's name, but Richard Chance is the character's name.
Okay, let's just do it by the characters then. We got Richard Chance. He's hunting down Willem Dafoe playing
Rick Masters.
Rick Masters. Okay, so we got Richard Chance hunting Rick Masters. Because Rick Masters killed Richard Chance's old partner, the old detective. He was 2 days away from retirement, damn it. And he's going to bag Rick Masters. He's going to take him down. He's going to do whatever it takes to take him down. And it's gritty, it's crime, it's police.
It's based.
There's action. Things are happening. It's getting darker. Women. Crime.
The most fantastic car chase these eyes have ever seen.
The best car chase committed to film. What? No. One of the best car chases committed to film. AJ, have clear thoughts.
Clear thoughts. Well, okay, so this is the kind of movie that you would expect from William Friedkin, mainly because of how much it just hooks you. The movie is just constantly building intensity and suspense, and it just doesn't really let you go. It's sort of like hooks you in, sort of nice and easy. It's this sort of, very much 1980s aesthetic. I mean, it was made in the 80s, so it's like this buddy cop movie, very tropey, it seems at first, but then it starts to take the whole buddy cop thing very, very seriously.
By nice and easy, he means the movie opens up with a bomb threat in a standoff on a rooftop with a man with a bomb vest and a man with a gun. And that's just like, that high tension that it starts with is your baseline, and from there it only keeps going up until it's out of the frame because it's so high up here, and your palms are sweaty watching people talk. And when that's happening, you're like, what is this film doing to me? This is insane, and it's incredible.
It's like filled to the brim with such subtle callbacks and payoffs.
Yes.
Like there's a moment where we basically figure out fully that our main protagonist, who over the course of the film becomes a worse and worse human being and becomes more and more unlikable because of it.
Because he's trying to bag Rick Masters, and
he lets revenge get the better of him.
And he doesn't care if they're taking him off the case. He's gonna get Rick Masters because he wants Rick Masters.
Rick Masters. The fact that he's an adrenaline junkie plays into a lot of his decisions in the latter half of the movie.
Yes, Richard Chance, as we're introduced to him in the movie, after the prologue with the bomb thing, just to set the tone, the high tension tone for the rest of the film, he's introduced base jumping off of a bridge, like bungee jumping, I guess, off of a bridge, and at first you're like, oh, okay, it's like, it's an 80s cop movie, so you think it's just like, he's a cool guy, so that's his cool guy hobby.
That's his quirk.
Well, yes and no. It comes back later on in the film as he does that. He tells his new partner after the old man gets killed by the main villain, which you assume is just, oh, this is like an 80s cop chart. Once again, it's not. It's twisted. And these things come back later on with the adrenaline thing, where he explains to his new partner that he base jumps, not because it's fun per se, but because he gets the adrenaline kick from it, and he likes to ride out that high. And he tells his partner this, I'm pretty sure right before
the scene before the car chase.
Right before a car chase, which was completely unnecessary plot-wise, and only happens because Richard Chance pushes them into a situation they shouldn't have been in, in his hunt for revenge against Rick Masters. The revenge fueled by the killing of his old partner, but like the old partner's killing turns out to have not much to do with it by the time we get in deep into the revenge plot. So the movie takes all these tropes of the genre from the time and twists them into something real and gritty and deeper than like they are shown to be in other movies and shows.
Yeah,
and it's so masterfully done and edited in throughout the movie in different scenes.
The pacing's phenomenal.
Callbacks, like he's talking about, and it's paced so well.
Yeah.
And shot beautifully, because William Friedkin and his crew he used on different movies are just great at what they do.
They really are. I mean, like, this movie takes the buddy cop genre, I guess, subgenre you could say, and it gives it real world consequences.
Yes, very much so.
And the way that it's shot, you were talking about how it's shot, I love that William Friedkin and his crew, like, they hang on shots or angles for a bit, but though they don't overstay their welcome.
Yeah, everything lingers just enough to get the point across or show you what a character's thinking without words.
That's the type of filmmaking that I sorely miss today.
Yeah, it's not as common as it would have used to have been.
Can we talk about how, like, Richard Chance and Rick Masters are essentially like the perfect foils of one another?
Yeah, lead it, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing that I love about the main villain and the main protagonist is, like, over the course of the movie, you begin to understand why Rick Masters is doing what he's doing. It's not like an adrenaline kick for him, though. It's just his way of life, and you begin to identify with him more than you identify with the main protagonist.
I wouldn't go that far. I think after a certain point, they're both despicable.
I mean, yes, they're both despicable.
And by that point, I'm in it more to see how it's going to play out between these two crazy men.
Yeah, but
more than identifying with one over the other.
I'm probably biased, though, because I'm kind of like, I really think it's cool how Rick Masters is also this, like, sensitive artiste. There's this big motive at the beginning of the movie that he's this really talented painter, but he always, like, burns his paintings after he's done with them. That comes back at the end of the movie in a really awesome example of, like, callbacks and you know, subtle imagery. But that's just something that I gravitated towards.
And it's a neat character thing, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, like, because it's stated, like, he could easily be, like, a famous painter who makes money from his art and doesn't have to be a murderous, deadly, counterfeiting criminal. He chooses to live life that way.
Yeah. He lives it on the edge.
And maybe it has a little something to do with that chase, that same thing Richard Chance has.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're talking the parallels between them.
Well, also, like, they both have these extremely attractive girlfriends that they just use. I mean, Rick Masters
more so for Richard Chance, our protagonist.
Like, this is one of the things that makes Richard Chance really unlikable, is how he treats his lady friend.
He does not treat women well. He treats his girlfriend. She considers them dating, but he doesn't. He's like, he straight up says it at one point. He's like, "I'm using you for information."
Yeah, like, she's an informant.
When we sleep together, that's like just for fun before you tell me what I want to know, and it's really messed up, and
it's toxic, is what it is.
It's very toxic, and on the complete flip side of that, when we introduce Rick Masters' girlfriend, it's shown to be that they are actually very loving and committed to each other, which is reinforced after the end of the movie, that they are very loving and committed to each other. And it's an interesting parallel that the bad guy and like keeps his woman involved with his life and truly loves her, while our hero does it. He just
doesn't care.
He has the complete opposite philosophy about the relationship he's in.
Let's talk about the partner character, who is, like, my favorite character in this whole movie.
What's his name?
Can't remember his name, but his name doesn't matter. because he doesn't matter until the very end of the movie.
Yeah, it's true. He's introduced about I'd say around the end of the first act, because it's a bit before he comes into the film, and then he's just kind of there tagging along as the good cop, who's in over his head with like this freaking crazy guy he just got partnered with.
He's very much portrayed throughout the majority of the film as the stereotypical good cop that gets dragged into a bad situation.
But like everything else in this movie, that's how it is introduced in a way that you're familiar with. And by the time the right moments happen, it flips it on its head, and you get like a whole different perspective on how this was set up and how it's being paid off.
His arc sort of like hits full speed by the end of the third act. And
by the end of the second act.
Yeah,
the third act in this film starts a little bit later than most movies. The second act goes for a bit, and that's not a negative, because in this movie never drags.
It never drags.
It just lasts a bit longer in that second act.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, like he doesn't really become important until that latter half of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the end of his arc plays directly into the big twist of the movie, which we will not spoil.
Yeah, I'm talking that kind of in circles because I don't want to spoil too much about this movie, even though it's hard to find. I had to spend $40 on the Blu-ray to get it delivered to me.
It's out of print and it's not streaming anywhere, which is very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, because I have told many people already to seek this film out to watch it, and I will tell whoever ends up finding this video, if they watch this far, to seek this film out and watch it.
It is worth every dollar. It's the most amazing action film I've seen in a long time.
Yes. But on the topic of the partner, yeah, by the end of his arc, his character goes through an entire journey in reinvention, and it's so beautiful, and not beautiful in the way of like pretty. The whole movie's grimy, and
it's steeped in like the criminal,
yes,
like the high time of criminals in LA.
But by the time you see the end of the film and where all the characters' stories have taken them and what happens, and with the partner specifically, so many pieces of what the movie's getting at from the very beginning click in place in a way that's almost scary, like a horror movie.
Yeah, no.
Now the ending is very much.
By the time by the time we get to the end of this movie, it's that William Friedkin vibe really makes a comeback.
Yeah, like that's the reveals at the end are like, oh my god, wait a second, we need to rewind like the past 2 hours and redo this, because
it goes from like a fun buddy cop action film to something more serious, to something dark and horrific very quickly.
Yes. And the entire way through, the acting is great. The way the characters are written and the plot structure, great. The stunt work is incredible.
Oh, yes. Like, the car chase, I can't imagine how they pull that off.
The car chase alone could sell this movie to almost anyone. It was
100%.
so insane, and I have so much respect for the amount of work it had to have gone into planning that, and the hundreds of moving people on their feet that were involved with it, on top of the hundreds of cars, trucks, and trailers that were involved with it. It is
in the middle of an LA freeway.
one of the best chase scenes on film.
I think it is the best chase scene on film. At least the best chase scene that I've ever seen.
It's the one car chase I've seen on a movie where, we said during the movie while we were watching it, when our hands are actually sweaty watching this chase. It was so intense.
Like, it was almost triggering my anxiety.
Yeah, no, the whole movie, I was sitting, we have another chair off to the side, I was sitting in that chair, like, bunched up, watching this film, like, oh my god, this is so intense. And it's just all aspects of the movie come together so well.
I don't think I can gush about this movie anymore.
I know that's all I've been doing the whole time. I'm trying to get points through somewhere in between all of it, but
it's just like the performances are great, the camera work is great, the stunt work is great. Everything about this movie is spot on.
Exactly.
And I guess we should just give it our ratings, man.
So, unlike many critics of the time, I went back and read some old reviews of To Live and Die in LA when it came out. Critics of the time who were very much of their time, and this applies to everyone who had the review I'm about to say, they would give it low ratings and complain that it's too dark and grim. It's just a grim movie. And I think they really were. They were too blocked off by their era.
Because that's what sets it apart.
The grimness of the story is very intentional.
Yeah.
To the themes of the movie, the characters, and the progression, the arcs they go through. It's like that for a reason, to tell you, to give a message by the end. So if I'm giving this a rating today, with just my sensibilities for film, this is like one of a rare case where I give this like a 9 out of 10. This is a near perfect movie for me.
I agree. Yeah.
And it has been. There's been time between us watching it and this review. This is not an immediate gushing after finishing.
We have been sitting on this for a while.
It's been this is like 2 weeks later. I've rewatched it once. He hasn't. He's just had time to like stew on it. This is a 9 out of 10 for both of us. It is such a great film, and it should be streaming. I don't know why it's not streaming anywhere.
It's frustrating, man. And I want to get the collector's edition Blu-ray, but it's like $90 on Amazon. But anyway,
and there's one left on Amazon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Just the one.
But my rating for this movie, I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
I'm just gonna get it that much, a little bit closer, because like I love it. Like this is one of those movies that I have zero issues with. Absolutely none, and those are rare.
Absolutely the best cop detective / federal agent, that genre. The best cop movie I've ever seen.
100% agreed. Well, I guess that about wraps up To Live and Die in LA. Thanks for joining us on this little gush session. I hope I hope this convinced you to go and check it out. It's very much worth your time. We'll catch you later in the next episode.
Since you can't watch the movie unless you want to spend a lot of money to buy the disc, watch the trailer on YouTube. I'm linking it below. It is so incredible, and it will sell it to you, and you will hunt this out.
Keep in mind it was made in the late 80s, and the trailer is kind of what convinced us to watch it.
The trailer's ahead of its time. Watch it. It's Living Down in LA. Intensity, high energy, fun with like an asterisk if you really like dirty cop stories.
And Willem Dafoe.
Watch it already.